Imagine getting paid just for sharing your thoughts on products and services you use every day. With Survey Junkie, it's that simple. Click on the link in the video description to discover how you can start earning today by taking surveys.
Despots Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un have been spotted bickering over who would enter a car first during the Russian leader's first visit to North Korea in 24 years. Vladimir Putin was met with a reception fit for a king upon his arrival in North Korea's capital city, after landing at Pyongyang airport. The Russian autocrat was greeted at the airport with a warm handshake and a hug by the pariah state's dynastic dictator Kim Jong-un. But footage captured an awkward exchange between the two leaders, who each insisted the other get in the car first. For what seemed like an eternity, both Putin and Un gestured to the other to get into the awaiting car. Eventually, Putin relented first, and was seen taking his jacket before getting into the limousine. Un joins him in the car shortly afterwards, before the huge motorcade ferried the Russian president to Pyongyang's main square where thousands upon thousands of adoring citizens were eagerly awaiting his arrival. The crowds erupted into cheers and let loose a torrent of bright-colored balloons at the sight of the Kremlin chief, who stood beside his host and took in the rapturous applause before they made their way through Kim Il-sung Square along a huge red carpet. The pair were saluted by a string of military guards atop snow-white horses before making their way past a gaggle of children clutching balloons and waving frantically at the smirking autocrats. Other revelers were seen touting huge portraits of the Russian president standing beside the Russian flag, the colors of which adorned the facades of buildings around the square. The ceremony also gave Kim a chance to introduce Putin to a host of key figures in his Politburo, including Foreign Minister Cho Sun-hui, top aide and ruling party secretary Jo Young-won, and his powerful sister, Kim Yo-jong, who besides her role as chief propagandist has in recent months become a fiery-tongued mouthpiece of the regime. After touring the square, Kim and Putin clambered into an open-top limousine, which whisked them away to Pyongyang's Kumsusan State Guest House, North Korea's official Korean Central News Agency said, for their first talks together on North Korean soil. The agency described their meeting as a historic event that demonstrates the invincibility and durability of the two nations' friendship and unity. Putin thanked Kim for the support and said the two countries would sign an agreement to boost their partnership as both fight against the imperialist hegemonistic policies of the U.S. and its satellites against the Russian Federation. The Russian president added that the new fundamental document will form the basis of our ties for a long perspective, according to Russian news agencies. North Korea is under heavy UN Security Council economic sanctions over its nuclear weapons and missile programs, while Russia is also grappling with sanctions by the United States and its Western partners over its aggression in Ukraine. Putin, making his first trip to North Korea in 24 years, thanked North Korea for consistent and unchanging support of the Russian policies, including in the Ukrainian direction, hailing ties that date back to the Soviet Army fighting the Japanese military on the Korean peninsula in the closing moments of World War II, and Moscow's support for Pyongyang during the Korean War. Our pilots flew tens of thousands of combat missions during the Liberation War of 1950-53, Putin said. Kim responded that relations between Moscow and Pyongyang are at a new high, even compared to Soviet times, and voiced hope that the fiery friendship of the two countries will grow more monolithic, according to Russian state news agencies. The North Korean leader was quoted vowing his country's full support and solidarity to the Russian government, army and people in carrying out the special military operation in Ukraine to protect sovereignty, security interests and territorial integrity. Kim has used similar language in the past, consistently saying that North Korea supports what he describes as a just action to protect Russia's interests and blaming the crisis on the US-led West's hegemonic policy. It wasn't immediately clear what that support from Pyongyang might look like. He also hailed Russia's important role and mission in preserving the strategic stability and balance in the world. Putin's visit to North Korea, his first since